Stars that shine brighter than the game itself. Big names, huge numbers, and a world of box office appeal. Then there are those who labor for every ounce of success. Baseball's blue-collar boys. On a beautiful Saturday afternoon, the roof is open here at Miller Park. The St. Louis Cardinals are in town, and this is for all of you who have put in an extra hour. You worked a 58-hour week you have to work on Saturday as we spotlight a couple of blue-collar boys. It's the Cardinals against the Milwaukee Brewers. Hello there once again, everybody. We trust you had a good week. He's Bill, I am Darren, and isn't it fun to see a couple of guys at the top of the order, Brady Clark and David Eckstein, who, as you've talked about before, aren't the most skilled guys in the world, but the numbers show there's some kind of special.
Yeah, they're off to good starts at the leadoff spot. On-base percentage, scoring runs, that's what being leadoff hitter is all about. When you break down their individual skills, neither one of them run all that well. They don't have great arms. They don't hit for power, but what they do, when you combine all the skills together, you come up with a very good baseball player, particularly a leadoff guy. Both very good at getting on base so far this year, jump-starting both offenses.
And they are guys that all of us can relate to. Look, they're in the big leagues, so we can't relate to that, but they work their tails off to get where they are, and isn't it rewarding to see the blue-collar boys off to a good start this season? Eckstein and Clark, top of the order again today for both the Brewers and the Cardinals. They do not take Saturday off, and we certainly are glad that you did not take Saturday off, and you have joined us for Brewers baseball. Now, the Cardinals will be going head-to-head with Doug Davis, who is looking to improve to 3-0 this year, and Davis really been on his game. Number 2 starter. Oh, look at that bender. It's the Cardinals, it's the Brewers. We're working hard for you today. Glad to have you back with us. The Cardinals shut out the Brewers last night by a score of 3-0, and the two working men exchanging handshakes today. Brady Clark, David Eckstein, and you know those two respect one another. Really fun to watch the way they play the game and the way he manages more than 2,000 victories for Tony La Russa. And let's take a look at his starting lineup as they go head-to-head with left-hander Doug Davis. At the top of it is David Eckstein. And our lineups are always brought to you by GMC. Grizzolonic, Pujols, that man, homered last night. Rolen, Sanders, and Luna. Taguchi, Molina, and Carpenter against a 29-year-old left-hander born in Sacramento, California. Talking about 2-0, Douglas P. Davis.
Yeah, the left-hander has that cut fastball working early in the season here, particularly early in games. I mean, very rarely does Doug get in trouble in the first 3 innings, which is why he's been able to win some games. Doesn't have his team behind early.
Waiting a moment to get this game started. Let's take a look at the defense while we wait. Brought to you by Rico. Jeff Jenkins, battling the flu this morning, was sleeping in that locker room. Again, our Rico defense shows you Lee, Clark, and Magruder in place of Jenkins. Cirillo, Hardy, Spivey, and Overbay. Damian Miller does the catching. And over at third base, Jeff Cirillo, Bill, he gets a start again today. Russell Branyan, it's not a major problem, but some tenderness in his shoulder, so Jeff Cirillo will play probably today and tomorrow, where they want to nip it in the bud early in the season. Russell's shoulder.
Yeah, again, little nagging things going on. You mentioned the flu going through the clubhouse. The coaching staff getting over. Jim Edmonds on the other side of the field. He's nursing the flu. He's out for the 2nd straight day.
Now we are ready. As the first pitch will come home just a shade after 107 Central. David Eckstein settles in against Davis. And he takes strike one. Eckstein 1 for 3 last night. Hitting .333 on the season, on base average of .471, former Angel. And a changeup misses outside, 1-1 the count. They list him at 5'7". I think that's a bit of a stretch. That doesn't seem to matter, though, as he fights that one off into center field, and there's his counterpart in the blue-collar area. Brady Clark putting him away.
Well, Doug Davis has done a nice job so far this year in his first 2 starts, keeping the ball in the ballpark. He gave up a home run in his first start. Hasn't given up a whole lot. Only 11 hits in his 13 innings in 2 starts. He's been outstanding.
Both of them against Pittsburgh. 1 at PNC, 1 here, the home opener at Miller Park a couple of days ago. 10-2 win on the opener, 6-2 win in the home opener, I should say. And Here's Mark Grizzolani. He takes a pitch outside. 1-0 the count on Mark. Doug Davis has made 44 starts as a Brewer since coming on board, all the way back to the 03 season, a small portion of it at the end. And as a Brewer in those starts, he is 17-14. His Brewer earned run average is 3.20.
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for much more. And he even wins when, he doesn't have his best stuff, like his last time out against the Pirates. He really struggled with his command. He walked 4. But he also struck out 7. That's a pretty good total for Doug. He shows you that he can win. He can battle out there on the mound even when he doesn't have his good stuff.
See where he signed that deal after being cut loose by the Toronto Blue Jays a couple of years ago. That's a pretty good pitch. 3-1 the count. You tell me.
That four-seam fastball on the outside corner, very important for Doug. He's got to be able to throw that one for strikes, and for whatever reason, fielding Culbers didn't like it.
Line to center field. Here comes Brady. He'll have to plan on a hop. Boy, it took a wicked hop. He had to block that one up with his chin, it looked like, and a single off the bat of Mark Grizzolani.
Yeah, it looked like it hit him in the face. Apparently not. Maybe up on the shoulder somewhere, but Brady thought he might be able to get to it, and then he decided very wisely to let it bounce. It got him in the hand, actually, the right hand. He knocked it down and kept Grizzolani at first base. That's a tough play for a center fielder. That line drive hit right at him.
Albert Pujols with Scott Rolen waiting in the on-deck circle. Albert homered last night, but the other big news is that he struck out twice as that pitch misses in. Ben Sheets got him with a high changeup. Ricky Bottalico struck him out as well. Including spring training, he had gone 108 plate appearances without a strikeout to start 05.
Not bad.
Yesterday, though, Bill, he hit a pitch out that really isn't supposed to be hit out by anyone.
And it was a curveball from Benny, and it was on the outer part of the plate, up in the strike zone just a little bit, and no doubt about it, that's what makes Albert Pujols so tough. I mean, not one way to pitch him. He covers both sides of the plate extremely well with power.
And he's still just 25 years old, Albert Pujols. And Ben Sheets was still talking about it after the game last night.
Though it's tough to win if you go out there and pitch if you don't get any runs in each of your last 2 starts. The Brewers have been shut out in both of Benny's last 2 starts this year, 4-0, and last night 3-0.
And on the flip side, it's made it easier with the support for Davis to settle down and settle in. As that one misses in, 3 balls and a strike to count on Albert Pujols. Albert wearing the eye black strips with his number on the strip there. In case it falls off in the dugout and someone else might swipe it.
You know you're good when you have your number on your eye strips. That's pretty good.
Well, and 5 could be for 500 RBIs. He has already reached that mark in 4 years, says Albert Pujols. DiMaggio and Williams, the only other 2 to start their first 4 years in the big leagues and have more than 500 RBIs.
Yeah, when you talk about Albert Pujols, just about every one of his offensive statistics, when you combine them, up there with some of the greats.
You were talking about how it's easier maybe to settle in like Davis did with run support, and Ben Sheets on the flip side has gotten nothing. And this backs up what you're saying.
Yeah, well, it's not very good, although Doug Davis has only given up 4 runs so far this year in 13 innings. And Ben Sheets, he got a bunch of runs on his first start, but nothing since.
Got him out front enough. That's a big league pop foul, folks. High up toward that roof that is open. And Jeff Cirillo puts him away.
And we talked about last night a couple of pitches that Albert popped up that maybe in another week or so he's going to hit out of the ballpark. I think that was one right there. Albert upset with himself that he didn't hit that one into the seat somewhere. Fastball middle in, about belt high. You can see him. He's not happy.
Here's Scott Rolen. Rolen off to a very slow start, hitting just 125. 4 hits and 32 at bats.
Yeah, a lot of these Cardinals are having a tough time. I mean, not too many of the Cardinal hitters are showing some pretty decent numbers. I mean, Edmonds has started out pretty well. He's sick. And Reggie Sanders has been hot. Other than that, it's slim pickings offensively for the Cardinals.
Talking about Pujols just missing it.
Man, check out this pitch. You think Albert wanted that pitch back? Check it out. I mean, boom. I mean, middle in, about belt high. Just got under it.
You noticed, Bill, in the first at bat last night that the hips leaked open a little bit. Did you see the same thing there?
Well, not so much, but you know that pitch was on the inner half of the plate. You don't mind leaking the hips a little bit on those pitches, but you know it's just one of those things when you're not just right. Your swing's not where you want it to be. You miss pitches like that. Last night, the pitch that he tried to pull and popped up was away from him. Normally, you don't see Albert Pujols do that.
He was recalling the home run Albert Pujols was against Ben Sheets, and we were talking about it this morning. And it's something you say a lot sitting up here. He said, I let that ball get in on me. I waited, and I haven't been doing that this year.
And you have to trust your hands in order to do that. You have to be comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. That was a 2-strike, or actually a 1-1 pitch that he hit out of the ballpark yesterday. Most guys, they see that pitch coming in, floating in, they jump at it, they pull it, they hit it off the end of the bat, and maybe get a base hit, but you let it get to you and you drive it to right field, ends up out of the ballpark. When you're as strong as Albert Pujols. There's that pitch right on the outside corner. That's the pitch that's so key for Doug. Everybody talks about that cutter. He's always got that working for him. He's got to throw that 4-seamer away for strikes.
Just in case he drives Grizzlonic back to the bag. And when Sheets was finally able to get Albert Pujols a couple of innings later, he got him with changeups. Out of the zone, high changeups. He laid off there.
Sometimes you have to make up stuff to get the good ones out. Remember Teddy Higuera sometimes saying, when Mattingly was up there, he had a tough time against Matt. I'm just going to throw it down the middle, hope he pops it up. I'm tired of trying to work this guy. He wears me out.
Cut fastball low, 3-2 the count. Runner will take off on this pitch. Grizzlonic with a single to center field. Eckstein line to center. Pujols an out sandwiched around Grizzlonic. Pop to third. Runner goes, and that one is foul.
You know, when you're struggling and you're not sure about what you're doing up there, you swing at pitches like that. That one probably about 6 inches off the inside corner, but Rolen going after it.
And you don't keep those pitches fair is the other thing.
Now,
runner will take off again. Another 3-2, and that one is driven deep left center field. Clark on the run. That one gone. First home run of the season for Scott Rolen, and it's 2-0 St. Louis.
now that pitch right down the heart of the plate, up, down in the zone, about knee high. Rolen having a tough time getting to the pitches upstairs. That one around the knees. He just dropped the head on it and rode it on out of here over the Brewer bullpen. They put a charge into that baby.
Reggie Sanders has been doing the same thing all season long. There's strike one. The veteran Sanders already with 4 home runs this year. He's driven in 8. 37 years old, and he finally now plays on a team for consecutive seasons. The Cardinals.
How many teams he's been with? About 12, 13?
He's bounced all over the place, and it's been a team of years. He breaks his bat. He might find green grass with that one. He does. Bill, it started Cincinnati, then San Diego, Atlanta, Arizona, San Francisco, Pittsburgh. A team a year.
Yeah. Organizations always feel as though they have maybe a young player that can do the same thing for not as much money, but never seems to be the case. Everywhere he goes, he's productive.
Now, there are those talented players like Jose Guillen, who comes to mind, that have bounced around because they've had problems in the clubhouse and problems with their managers.
Yeah.
That is not Reggie Sanders. You just gave the sole reason.
Right.
Maybe thought they could save a little bit of money.
Save a little bit of money, maybe a youth movement. You know the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, Reggie's up there in age, and he's been around, and perfect for a team like the St. Louis Cardinals.
He has a good year. He'll reach 300 home runs. He's 25 shy. Now he would be the opposite of a malcontent in the clubhouse. Wonderful clubhouse guy. And the Cardinals, as Hector Luna takes strike one, they pride themselves in having pretty good chemistry and pretty good leadership in that clubhouse, like the men in white, the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, those guys police themselves. Tony La Russa's job's pretty easy.
That's why a guy like David Eckstein fits in so nicely with the Cardinals. If you ask Reggie Sanders, Albert Pujols, as I did yesterday, and make it clear he's our kind of guy. As a matter of fact, Eckstein, who has a World Series ring, a lot of guys can't say that in that dugout. He would ease up and listen to conversations between veterans like he was a rookie. David starting all over again, very respectful of everyone.
Of course, when he's in a conversation, he's walking all over the place, right? Does he ever stand still?
No. Perpetual motion. Huge jump on 1-2, and it's strike three. So Luna goes down on strikes, but Scott Rolen got the Cardinals a rolling. His first home run of the season. There's blue-collar boy Brady Clark getting ready to swing the bat. Certainly glad you're with us. Bottom of the first inning, Brewers try to get those runs back as they trail it 2-0. Take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by GMC. Lyle Overbay, 3 doubles already this season. In the heart of it, Clark, Spivey, Overbay. Then it's Lee, Miller, Cirillo, Magruder today. J.J. Hardy and Doug Davis against 29-year-old right-hander Christopher John Carpenter.
Yeah, comeback player of the year in the National League last year. Put up some very good numbers, 15-5 with a 3.46. Control pitcher with a nice overhand curveball. Got to watch for that today.
Brady was 2 for 4 last night in the midst of a 5-game hitting streak, and the numbers are good because of that. Like David Eckstein, setting the table for his club. And both clubs really have been inconsistent to this point offensively this year, despite their leadoff hitters.
And you would think if leadoff hitters are going to get on, you're going to score some runs. Brady scored 10 runs so far this year.
Fights that one off. Long run for Luna. Sit down. It does. Here he goes. Going for 2. He is out, and appropriately tagged out by David Eckstein, who last night hit a ball in the exact same spot, and because of the way they played the game, attempted to do the exact same thing. He too was gunned down last night.
Man, that's a heck of a throw by Luna out there and right. Right on the money. I mean, Brady Clark jammed on this ball. He dumps it into right field. And here's where sometimes you got to harness your enthusiasm and your aggressiveness. When you're leading off a game like this, you're already down 2-0. You don't want to make outs on the first at bat. Stay at first base, get something going. 2 outs, nobody on. A bit of a different situation, and Brady's out by plenty. That's not even close. Well, Ned Yost said that his team's going to be much more aggressive this year, and so far in the first week plus, there's been a lot of outs made on the bases. I mean, stolen base attempts and trying to take extra bases. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Didn't work then.
Both the guys we featured coming on the air, they work their tails off, but as you mentioned, at times have to control their aggression. Middle of the diamond. Base hit center field for Junior Spivey.
And Chris Carpenter really got banged around in his last outing. He had a great opening day start. Phillies pounding him around pretty good, and so far, first two batters have reached base.
But Brady not in the scoring position as he tried. This is last night. This is David Eckstein. Same attempt.
Yeah, Jeff Jenkins with a perfect throw to second base. Different situation over Eckstein. There was 2 outs and nobody on. You want to try and get into scoring position.
Here's Lyle Overbay. Big shift defensively as they play Lyle to pull on the infield. Eckstein nearly behind the bag at second, Rolen well off the line at third.
There you see the shortstop, David Eckstein, and you don't see too many shifts like that for Lyle, but ordinarily when he goes to the opposite field, it's ordinarily in the air. So he doesn't hit many ground balls to where the shortstop normally would be.
It's interesting, Bill. You know, watching Rich Dower set up the defense for the Brewers, and we call it alien defense, and it looks dramatic. But when it's a player that you cover on a daily basis like Lyle Overbay, you can look out at shifts, and they really do make sense like that one.
Yep. Well, Lyle hits a lot of his ground balls right back through the middle. And right now, Eckstein is going to be waiting for it if he does.
2-1 the count.
You know, it's amazing to see how you play different teams, and different teams will defend a hitter different ways. And everybody has advanced scouts. They use the scouting services, and one team will play the shift, one team won't. But I think you're seeing a lot more of it than you used to.
Spivey with a very safe lead, and Lyle's tired of waiting. We were talking last night about how Dave Nelson is trying to push Brady Clark to take a larger lead at first. On the flip side, he's trying to encourage Junior Spivey to take a lead that is directly on line to second base. He takes a step back as he heads off, as that one misses outside.
You know, a lot of players like to go back behind a little bit, not directly in the path between first and second, but back toward the outfield a little bit, because they figure if I'm going to get back head first, I'm going to slide to the outfield side of the bag, making the tag a little bit longer. The only problem is your path to second base is a little bit further when you do that. Well, the other thing, and I was always told, and Paul Milder taught me this, is if you're going to take a lead a little bit in front of the bag, because it doesn't appear to the pitcher as your lead is that big. It looks a little bit shorter than it actually is because you're closer to him.
Brewers trying to get back a couple of runs. Scott Rolen with a home run in the first inning. 2-run shot. Ball 4. And they can grab the lead if Carlos Lee can match what Scott Rolen did.
And Chris Carpenter hasn't been able to record an out yet. 2 walks and a walk, 2 hits and a walk, and really not very sharp. Phillies pounded him, as I was talking about in his last start.
Pat Burrell hit a 3-run home run in that game. 3-run home run would look fine and dandy right now.
I'll take a base hit.
Oh, I will too. Good pitch on the outside corner. Almost looked like a cut fastball. 0-1.
Yeah, he's got a good cutter. 4-seamer, 2-seamer, a cut fastball, which is what he threw the first pitch to Carlos. He'll throw a changeup.
Lee saw some tough sliders from Jason Isringhausen in the 9th last night. That reminded me of it. And they're staying out there, aren't they?
Well, that's where Chris Carpenter likes to get his outs. He likes to get them away. He doesn't like to fool around with the inside part of the plate too much. He kept the ball in the ballpark pretty well last year. I think it was 24 home runs that he allowed, which isn't all that bad in 28 starts. Now, control pitchers typically will give up more home runs than will a power pitcher that's all over the place.
No surprise there, and that total will continue to grow. He'll drive in more than 100. Boy, again, just off the plate outside and a little dip to it away.
And Carlos has been swinging at pitches last couple of games that we didn't see him swing at in spring training. I mean, that pitch a good 4 or 5 inches off the outside corner, maybe trying to do a little bit too much.
Let's see if he changes his approach with 2 strikes. And does Molina dare call for anything in? They're trying to get together right now, and Lee tired of waiting. Got him looking outside corner. That was a 2-seam fastball that he backdoored. A little sink to it the other way.
Yeah, just able to nip the outside corner at the knees. That's a perfect pitch. And you're right, he didn't come inside at all. Check it out. It might have been low. Not sure. See a little bit better here. I think a little large strike right there.
I do too.
But again, 2 strikes you've got to protect.
What a great offensive start it's been for Damian Miller. 10 hits and 25 at bats. 400 clip. And a chance to get something done here with 2 outs.
Well, it gives you an idea what Ned Yost has thought of his offense. He's got him batting 5th here today. Big opportunity for the Brewers against a pretty tough right-hander. I'll tell you, with 2 hits and a walk in the 1st inning, you better come up with something. You don't get many opportunities against a guy like this ordinarily.
Brewers as a team this year hitting .213 with runners in scoring position. 2-0 the count.
One thing Damian has done so well so far this year is use right field very effectively. Letting the ball get to him and really trying to hit it hard to right field.
There's that little cut fastball, 2-1. Lyle Overbay was watching video this morning of Chris Carpenter, and the one thing that kept coming up is down in the count. In other words, 1-0, 2-0, 3-1. Very rarely throws a fastball.
Yeah, the cut fastball, perfect pitch when you're behind in the count. Now, the hitter thinks it's a fastball. He tries to leak out a little bit. He tries to pull it. Then all of a sudden it tails away. Ends up down on the end of the bat.
Runners on 1st and 2nd for Milwaukee. Miller trying to raise that average up above 400 with a timely hit. Pounds that one foul. 3-2. Runners will get to take off. 7 years in the minor leagues for Damian Miller. Twins drafted him in the 20th round out of Viterbo College just outside of La Crosse. Grew up in West Salem, Wisconsin. Still makes his home in that area. Head start for the base runners. They take off, and that one's popped right side. And out of play. I tell you, Ned Yost, the former catcher, and Damian Miller, the catcher, as you can see the Brewers' struggles in that category. They have a lot in common, Bill. I mean, backstops with good minds, talking about Ned. And both outdoorsmen. No surprise, Miller's a Wisconsinite, loves to hunt and fish.
Well, Ned has a wonderful relationship with Damian Miller, just like he did last year with Eddie Perez. No coincidence.
Got him with an off-speed pitch, looked like over the top of a changeup. Brewers come up empty. Blue-collar boys today, Clark and Eckstein. Brady Clark, who played as a part-time player, now in the lineup every day. He said it's always been that way. I've always walked into the ballpark as if I am playing every single day.
You know, I'm not approaching it any different. You know, I have the belief every year that I'm an everyday player, you know, until told otherwise. You know, and every day come to the park with the same mentality that I'm in the lineup until I see that I'm not, or I'm told that I'm not. And you know, I'm not going to settle for being a role player.
You know, and that's the way it is in the National League. I mean, you're a utility player sitting on the bench. You're an everyday player. You might not just start every game. I mean, you know, pinch hitters and double switches, and a lot of times your utility players get a lot of playing time. But Brady Clark used to that.
So Taguchi flies out to Chris Magruder. You know, I was talking to Magruder, who just made that play. He now has taken over Brady's role in a sense of that fourth outfielder, that swing man. I said, okay, I've talked to Brady. He said he used to approach it as an everyday player in the past. Magruder said, I'm exactly the same way.
Yeah.
I said, did Ned talk with you last night? He said, usually Ned does, but he didn't mention it to me because it's an illness. Jeff was sick. He said, well, I wasn't surprised at all when I walked in this morning and saw my name up there.
Yeah, well, Jeff Jenkins, as you talked about in the clubhouse, I mean, it's a mass unit down there. I mean, guys getting sick and things like that. Coaching staff not feeling all that well. Rich Dower just getting over the bout with the flu. Jeff's sleeping on one of those couches down there in the clubhouse. Chris Magruder, a good guy to fill in. Switch hitter.
Molina shoots that one foul. Yadier Molina, youngest baby brother of Benji and Jose Molina, the backstop duo for the Anaheim, or I should say now the Los Angeles Angels. And in an interesting twist, starting catcher in the National League at 22 years old, the youngest in this league to start behind the plate opening day since Jason Kendall with the Pirates did it in '96 at 21. I tell you, Bill, that is a young age for that position.
No doubt about it. It gives you an idea what they think of this young man. He handles himself very well behind the plate. He's got a great arm. We saw him throw the ball very well down to second yesterday. And in talking to the folks around the Cardinals here, they're very impressed with the way he handles the pitching staff. And that's the major thing.
That hit the bag. Look at Jeff Cirillo, long throw. Lyle can't dig it. And fortunately, that netting on just a certain portion of the camera well kept that from being an extra base. Big break there.
Well, and again, Cirillo's got to remember who's running. I mean, Molina doesn't run all that well. As a matter of fact, he's downright slow a foot. Got rid of it a little bit too soon. He had time to set himself and make an accurate, strong throw. Defense has not been very good for the Brewers the last couple of games. Ben Sheets with a couple of errors last night. Cost him a couple of runs.
First base line foul. Carpenter trying to move him over. That, by the way, as you would assume, is an error on third baseman Jeff Cirillo.
Started out to be a pretty good play, as you mentioned. It hit the back part of the bag and stayed down on him. But he just rushed his throw. Didn't have to.
All sorts of options when you run a bunt defense, and the pitcher has the option there to pick, as he just did.
It's going to have to be a perfect bunt by Carpenter, because as we talked about, Molina doesn't get down the line too well. So you don't have to be too fancy in this situation.
Cirillo cheating in big time. Here he comes. And that's where you need to bunt it. First base side. Overbay had to stay home, and they got him with the tag.
And Molina was running on the bunt. I'm not sure if that was by design, but he took off as soon as Davis delivered to home plate, but Carpenter got it down. You don't see that very often. You can see, because of his lack of speed, Cardinals figured, you know what, I better get him in motion quick. And it worked. That potentially could be an inning-ending play if he popped it up.
And here is David Eckstein with a chance with 2 outs to give the Cardinals another run. Line to center field back in the first inning. Cirillo stays in nearly on the grass at third as Eckstein takes high. Talking about a guy not very large in stature and not a home run hitter, but a couple of years ago with the Angels, in consecutive days After never hitting a grand slam as a pro, he hit 2 grand slams in 2 days as an Angel. And he rolls that one out to Jeff Cirillo. Davis works out of it. Brewers look to get some runs back and do it now. 2-0, and you take a peek at section 232. Every Tuesday home game, Darren and Bill's Buckethead Brigade in that section. For just $15, you get a game ticket and a t-shirt. For Cubs and Yankees games, the price is a regular price of $26. Call 414-902-4000. It was sold out this past Tuesday. And in the month of May, 3 Buckethead games. May 3rd, Chicago Cubs, 10th, Phillies, and 24th against the Rockies. Sell them all out. We had a blast out there this Tuesday night, although the result wasn't very good. They seem to be able to move beyond that, though.
Yeah, it's not all about the wins and losses out there, is it?
It was last year, because they won a lot.
Very rarely do the Brewers lose when they're out there. You're right.
No balls and 1 strike, the count on Jeff Cirillo. I tell you what, Bill, that's a low strike zone. That's the one to Lee and now the one to Cirillo, and Jeff doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, he gives a low strike. You better not be giving a borderline high strike. It makes for a long day for the hitters.
So he's forced to swing at that pitch. That was an uncomfortable swing, and I would submit to you that the call before forced that swing.
Yeah, sinking fastball, 3 pitches, and Cirillo's gone. You don't see that happen all the time, and you wonder if those shadows that's creeping across home plate are giving the hitter some problems right now. Makes for a difficult background. You're sitting there in the shade. You see the bright sunshine out there, and then the batter's eye in the shade. But it's you know, it's same for both teams.
Good slow curveball, 0-2. So it was single Clark, single Spivey, walk over Bay, and since then Lee, Miller, and Cirillo have all struck out. 1 out here in the bottom of the 2nd inning.
And not normally a strikeout pitcher, Chris Carpenter. I mean, 152 strikeouts last year and a little over 180 innings, but in spring training he was striking out a fair amount. 15 strikeouts in his last 2 starts in Florida.
Wow, 2 really good pitches there. Trying to Maddox it, if you will.
Throwing that 2-seam sinking fastball, started off the inside corner and then catch the edge.
Outside, 3-2. Magruder, amazingly enough, is laid off of all 3 of those pitches. In the big leagues with Texas, Cleveland, and now Milwaukee, Chris Magruder, 27 years old and a Washington native. Middle of the diamond, Eckstein gobbles it up, puts him away. Nothing flashy about that shortstop, but last year David Eckstein had a fielding percentage best amongst all shortstops, .988.
He's got great hands. He doesn't have a whole lot of range. I mean, the range is pretty good, but the arm not all that great, and everything all out for David Eckstein. So is everything as hard as he can. That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No. Right back to the mound. J.J. Hardy is erased, and the Brewers again come up empty. Let's see if they can get it going here in an inning or 2.
Cards lead the Brewers 2-0. Well, the new Brewers single A team in Charleston, West Virginia, the West Virginia Power, they're going to have some fun tonight. They are hosting Martha Stewart release party at the game against Hagerstown. Anybody who is named Martha or Stewart gets in for free. The groundskeeper will be giving gardening tips, and the head of concessions will be giving cooking tips as well. Also, employees for the West Virginia Power will be wearing orange jumpsuits, and the ushers will wear moles and Martha wigs. Giveaways include Martha Stewart Kmart items and, of course, a Martha Stewart lookalike. They're having fun tonight with the West Virginia Power.
Oh, good stuff.
That
Thank you,
is,
Bob.
Yeah. How do you come up with that stuff? Is that
I like that.
Is that in the notes?
That's not in the notes.
That's awesome. We're having fun with it. We're not even going to be there.
No, it's not the notes, is it?
Maybe that'll be on the MLB package tonight. Is that her?
Is that Martha? Is she here? I don't know. Kind of a cross between. It's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
2-2. Orange. How about the employees wearing the orange jumpsuits? 2-0. The Cardinals lead it. 2-2 the count as Davis works against Mark Grizzolati. There should be someone there. Junior Spivey, no problem. He goes back so comfortably on anything in right field.
Hey, a lot of guys go back on that baseball. Second baseman in short right field, just hoping that the right field is going to call him off. But Junior goes after it, and he wants to catch it. He's very good at that play.
They were showing a play on one of the sports channels this morning, and it was taking the break, saying when we come back, we'll show you some great plays from yesterday. And Junior watched the second baseman, I don't remember who it was, and said, oh, that wasn't so tough. And I actually allowed and respected that opinion because he's so good at it.
Yes, sir.
The player went a couple of circles and a dive, if you know what I mean.
Now, sometimes you don't take a very good route to the baseball. You end up on the highlight films making a nice diving catch.
1-1 the count on Albert Pujols. A home run every 10 at-bats last year in day games. And a high average of about 360. Big shift to pull him the infield toward that left side. And the cut fastball is high, 2-1.
Damian Miller and Doug Davis having a chat. I wonder, if they're discussing the fact, let's not make a mistake with this guy. I know Rolen hit a home run his last time up, but he's not swinging the bat as well as Albert. Let's not make a mistake. And it is tough to see right now. I mean, no doubt about it. You can see those shadows.
3-1 the count. Pujols, the youngest of 11 children, grew up in the Dominican Republic. As he got older, his family moved to Kansas City, in Independence, Missouri. As he fouls that one back. So Albert actually playing community college baseball here in the United States. Maple Woods Community College in Missouri. And not a bad draft pick, 13th round in '99. He's turned out all right.
Yes, he has.
Deep left field. Second home run in as many days for Albert Pujols. Doug Davis was hot with that one. It's 3-0.
You get the sense that these guys are starting to heat up a little bit. I mean, first week of the season, they weren't able to put anything together offensively. Still last in the National League in team batting average. That's not going to last long. That was a high fastball, four-seamer, and you can see Albert getting on top of it and driving it over the Brewer bullpen. This team has a lot of power. Over 200 home runs last year. 3-2 pitch. The time before, the at-bat before Albert got a pitch, he popped up, he should have hit out of the ballpark. He didn't miss that one.
Isn't that interesting? He's done that, Bill, in consecutive days. I mean, he has. Against Ben Sheets, a pitch that he should have handled. One at bat, the next at bat, he homered. A lot of self-coaching going on, I would imagine, right now with that man.
Yeah.
Cut fastball in on the hands. Davis lets Miller get under it and make the play. He's just some kind of a special hitter. And the numbers tell us that. But Albert Pujols is a guy that hits ground balls like no one else.
And everything hard. I mean, he makes good contact. He spreads out with that stance and is hardly ever fooled by any pitch.
Fastball nips the inside corner. 0-1 the count on Reggie Sanders. 3-0 St. Louis. And that man with his 3rd home run of the year, but his 2nd on the weekend. He's loving his lumber in there right now.
Yeah, making sure nobody's going to mess with it. That's a gamer right there. I mean, he's going to keep a very keen eye on where that bat is.
One and 2 the count. Another cut fastball. While Pujols has 3 now, Sanders already has 4 on the season. Had a big April last year, and again this year. He is putting up big power numbers to start both seasons with the Cardinals.
Arizona Diamondbacks, coming into action today, lead the National League in home runs with 14. St. Louis now with 14 after their 2 today.
You know, and their offensive struggles too, Bill, haven't been wrapped around striking out a lot coming into this. Haven't walked a ton. Been hitting a lot of atom balls, quite honestly. 2-2.
Well, they've struck out the fewest times of any team in the National League. Only 36 coming into action. So yeah, you're right. They're putting baseball in play, but either atom balls, a lot of atom balls, or maybe some pop-ups, but they do make contact.
Tony La Russa was quoted as saying last year about Albert Pujols, you see him celebrate somebody else's base hit more than his own. He's really just trying to help us win. That's out of the Musial, Shane East, and Brock era. He's just out there playing. The numbers and the money take care of themselves. That's why I admire him. La Russa talking about Albert Pujols late last year. Jason Marquis takes the baseball tomorrow for the Cardinals. Victor Santos, who pitched very well against the Cubs in his first start for the Brewers.
Yes, he did. After a very shaky spring training.
Davis 60 pitches as he works here in the 3rd inning. Fairly alarming total, obviously, 20 an inning. He's down 3-0. Brewers have seemed to carry in their offensive woes from last night into today.
But unlike last night, they had major opportunity in the 1st inning. I mean, Jeff Suppan didn't give the Brewers any opportunities at all yesterday.
As Chad Moeller called it in the locker room today, an easy offer.
Man, nothing overpowering.
So a tough offer would be like facing Nolan Ryan or Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson, yeah, Ben Sheets will give you a rough offer. You don't feel comfortable up there. Almost in that bat where you get embarrassed when you walk away. But Jeff Suppan, a guy that relies on that sinker. Yeah, throw a little bit of a curveball and a slider. You feel good up there, but just don't find any base hits. A comfortable offer, if you will.
That's what it was dubbed by Chad.
You walk back to the dugout and you say to you, I'm going to get him next time. I feel good today. He doesn't have anything out there, and before you know it, you're shut out.
Pitch at bat to this point. Number 11 comes home. And Sanders rolls it foul. Now it's headed to 12. And this is not the norm for Reggie Sanders, but he is really hanging in there.
And it's not the norm for Doug Davis. I mean, as you talked about, a lot of pitches already.
63 now. The Cardinals lead it 3-0. Pujols and Rolen have each homered in this game. High drive, center field. Clark drifting into those shadows. He puts it away. Albert Pujols gets another one he can handle. On the cover of the Wheaties box a couple of days ago. That one, goodbye.
Cardinals lineup loaded for the long ball. Can Overbay and the Brewers overpower the sluggers from St. Louis? Or will the defending league champs launch their way to victory? Cardinals, Brewers, tomorrow at 1 on FSN North.
Doug Davis to lead things off. First pitch misses low. Hope will be with you in your living room over the next couple of weeks as we start the season. 115 times we'll be with you this year on FSN North. 1-1 the count on Doug Davis. Our upcoming television schedule says we will wrap up this series with the Cardinals tomorrow, then the Dodgers Monday night. Then it's on the road to Houston, San Francisco, and St. Louis. Join us on the road. We will televise every one of those games minus the last game on that trip. And pregame shows as well. Davis goes down on strikes. Took him a while last year, didn't it, Bill? If I'm not mistaken, he was 1 for 64, and it wasn't until late in the year that he got his first hit, Doug Davis.
August, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
Sometime in August.
All right, here's Brady Clark. Singled in the first inning, was thrown out trying to stretch that single into a double. Brady's the man we talked about coming on the air today with such a great start to this season, along with David Eckstein. A couple of hard-working, high-effort, high-energy guys. Ned Yost was talking today about Clark's slow start over the first couple of days. He said, you don't panic. There's just no way you panic. And they asked, well, what is Brady doing different? He says he's not doing anything different. He's just finding more holes right now. Ned making it clear that this game goes in circles sometimes.
Yes, it does. Streaks. You know, it's all about averages. You're evaluated on what you do over the course of a season or over a course of a select period of time. But you go for your 0 for 12, and then you go your 6 for 12, and then you have your average. So yeah, it's a very streaky game. Every hitter goes through streaks, or at least most.
One and two the count, one out. Junior waits on deck. Brady Clark is a walking, talking example of, please tell me I can't do something so that I can go ahead and do it. He has lived by that.
I think what Brady's going to have to learn, though, throughout the course of the year, the first time he's had an opportunity to play every day and play center field, he's going to have to learn sometimes not to work so hard before and after a game. He's got to pace himself.
Fanny went one way, bat went the other, and that's a base hit. He was fooled badly, but Clark, his 6th multi-hit game of the year.
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
That tailgate was going down the third base line, wasn't it?
I mean, there's no way you make contact on that baseball, but again, he was able to double clutch. He just threw the head of the bat. Look at it, a knee buckler, and it's not exactly the way you want it on a highlight film, but it worked. Rudzelani not able to get there, but when you make contact, and that's what both of these guys do that we talked about on the open, Eckstein and Brady Clark, they just put the bat on the ball somehow.
And doesn't that at bat right there back up what Ned Yost was saying before the game? He's just finding holes right now.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
You bet.
And if you're good and lucky, you're in good shape.
You were talking about dialing down the work a little bit and learning when to take a day or a night off before or after a game. David Eckstein had to learn that the hard way in Anaheim. He wore down his first couple of years. Had nothing in August.
Sometimes your mind will tell you that it just fights the idea of not doing a whole lot, or just kind of shutting down for a day or two. Those guys like that just can't accept that type of thinking. But they have to force themselves, or they have to be forced to do it by the manager.
Hitters count, Junior Spivey. And a good sinker, 2-1.
Not the nasty sinker that Jeff Suppan featured yesterday, but he's got good late movement on it. That's like a pretty good pitch to hit on 2-0.
Junior way out front of that one. 2-2 the count. Talking about Clark and Eckstein, we stumbled across a quote from veteran humorist and author Sam Ewing. Hard work spotlights the character of people. Some turn up their sleeves, some turn up their noses, and some don't turn up at all.
Is that in the notes?
That would not be in the notes. Just outside, it's 3-2.
You and Brainerd amaze me. You come up with that stuff. Good stuff. And see that pitch just above the knees.
See if Clark takes off here, down 3-0. Stays put. Spivey hooks that one down the line, and it's foul. Brewers and Ned Yost, not being shy about it, have been very aggressive on the base paths. And in the first week it helped him, and here in the second week it's cost him quite a bit.
Yes, sir. Cost him an inning or two in Chicago. The team was playing the Cubs, and it may have cost him in the first inning. Brady Clark trying to stretch a single into a double.
Ned was saying about continuing to call hit and runs and stolen base attempts. He said, you've got to do it. We can't stop now. And I'm not keeping score of when it works and when it doesn't.
And when the situation warrants it and you have the right guys out there, you got a good base runner, you got a guy that makes contact, do it.
Lyle Overbay waits on deck. Junior with that single in the first inning snapped an 0-for-10 skid. He does lead the National League with 14 strikeouts. That strike zone, Junior, unfortunately for you, it's low, and it's been that way all day.
Yeah.
Ned Yost hot about it.
Ned's not happy about it, but you know what? It's been there all day. That has been a strike all day long for fielding Colbreth. It looked like it might have been low. You know, that side angle that we have from time to time will give a pretty good indication of where that pitch is. But you know what? He has been calling that pitch for both sides.
But Bill, it is low
all day.
That's the only problem
but
that
you know
Ned
what?
has with it.
You know what?
I know he's been consistent.
Well, you're right, but you know what? If you're a hitter, you better go up there and swing at it.
I understand.
You're going to have a long day. You have to adjust to the umpire. He's not going to adjust to you. Man, this will give us a pretty good indication. Is it low? You tell me.
Well, not from that angle.
Didn't look low from that angle.
Not from that angle.
You know, it looked like it was clearly above the knees. I'll tell you what, that's a great angle for, you know, determining whether a pitch is up or down.
That's a, we like to call that the shut you up angle.
That's a showstopper.
I had my soapbox out for a minute, then I saw that angle and zip.
Got to get him. You got to swing at him. I mean, shouldn't you, though, be rewarded as a pitcher for throwing down around the knees?
Oh, I agree with you.
I mean, isn't that what
That's
everyone's
a beautiful
taught?
pitch.
Isn't that what everyone's taught?
And especially that pitch, because not only is it at the knees, it's got good downward movement. So a lot of times the hitter will turn around and then see the catcher's mitt well below his knees. That's a ground ball pitch.
You know what? By the letter of the rules, and very rarely is it called like that, but it's not where the catcher catches it. It's where it crosses home plate. Catchers, perhaps, you know, 2.5, 3 feet behind home plate.
Strikeouts to Davis and Spivey in this inning. And with 2 outs, Lyle Overbay trying to get things into the hands of Carlos Lee. They're playing Lyle to pull pretty dramatically on the infield. He shoots that one into right field, base hit, and another chance for Lee to make a difference. All the way into third goes Clark with a slide. And runners on first and third, 2 outs.
I'll tell you what.
El Caballo.
I'll tell you, when Brady first took that turn around second base, I thought they had a play on him. The throw was offline. Again, being aggressive, Brady Clark. That's what you have to do. There's that low strike. Down around the knees. And Lyle Overbay hammers it into right, one hop. Brady's touching second right about there. But able to make it into third base. You don't want to make it out on the bases with Carlos Lee coming up.
He's got just 1 home run this year, and he can tie it with 1 swing of the bat. That home run came last Wednesday in Pittsburgh.
And if he hits a home run today against Chris Carpenter, it's going to have to be to center field or right. And they're not messing around with the inner half of the plate with Carlos. Well, that's okay. He's got good power that direction.
See if he can make the adjustment. Boy, that one drifted right down the middle.
He made a mistake, didn't he?
Oh, boy. Carlos overly excited on that mistake. Molina was set up outside, and it's that dreaded reaching back of the catcher's mitt.
Yeah, when you see that catcher's mitt over the heart of the plate, look out.
See, they're playing him to pull, as we showed you a moment ago. Center field, down off the end of the bat. That'll put him away. So Taguchi hauls it in. And another wasted opportunity for the Brewers. They'll get something at some point. 3-0 St. Louis leading Milwaukee. Certainly glad you're with us on a Saturday afternoon, which most of us in and out of the house, I would imagine, watching. It's beautiful out there. Aflac trivia question. Who was the last Brewers pitcher to win at least 13 games in a season? Ben Sheets got to 12 last year. Who was the last pitcher to win 13 in a season? Doug Davis got to 12 last year. Good question. That one misses away to Hector Luna. He's had some tough luck out of the gates. That man will win more than 15 this year. Nice little cut on it down off the end of the bat. Here comes Brady Clark. Can't make the play. It trickles by him. Luna sniffing out that extra bag. And he's in there easily. Boy, a big swing by Hector Luna will always cost an outfielder that step while they wait to figure out where the ball is.
Yeah, it'll freeze you out there in the outfield. You see that big swing, and that ball doesn't go anywhere. And a lot of times the ball will dump in front. There's a case where perhaps Brady Clark, with nobody out, just kind of play it safe, keep Luna at first base, keep that double play alive. But you can't tell Brady to play anything safe.
It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Here's So Taguchi, fly to right field back in the second inning. Taguchi, a teammate of Ichiro's for the Oryx Blue Wave for several years. He played for the Oryx Blue Wave 92 to 01 over there. Was a whiz with a glove for sure. 5 times Taguchi was a Gold Glover. In this game, no one has reached to lead off an inning, and now Hector Luna has done it. Only 5 times this year, leadoff hitter has reached the base against Davis. A couple of hits. 3 of them exactly, and 2 walks. That's why he's pitched well.
Yeah, you can get that leadoff hitter in. It really limits the options of the offense. And you get a base hit, and there's already 1 out. You can't really sacrifice a whole lot unless the pitcher's up there. But again, that leadoff hitter, the most important. You bet.
And you'd like to have him first, as we mentioned earlier. Chance at a double play. Boy, Cirillo and Overbay still think there's going to be a bunt. They're easing in on the grass. Now Lyle really creeping in. Runner goes to third, had a huge jump, a hit and run. Overbay throws out Taguchi. That was a thing of beauty. Luna really had that one stolen.
Yeah, I think that was a stolen base, and Taguchi just decided to swing the bat. You don't very often see a hit and run with a man at second and nobody out. He got a pretty good jump. That's pretty good. Nobody really holding him on, and you can see just trying to dump it over there to second base. That'll go as a nice play. It'll be a 4-3 put out, no sacrifice, but essentially that's what it was.
We saw last night with runners on base. Yadier Molina gave himself up, put it out in the books as he only has one hit this year. Moved the runner over to third, and the Cardinals eventually scored that run. Here's a chance for the young man without a hit again to make a difference.
Well, watch out for the squeeze here. Successful squeeze in yesterday's ball game with Suppan at the plate.
Infield drawn in. Two and 0 the count. 3-0. The Cardinals lead it over the Brewers. They about hit the Crew 5-4. Lone error in this game committed by third baseman Jeff Cirillo. Not a costly error. Did not come around to score. Right now,
I'm not sure. You know, Tony La Russa is thinking, no, this is my catcher, and he's my everyday catcher. And I want to have him develop some confidence up there, and at least have him think that I believe in him up there at the plate. I mean, if you squeeze in this situation, already up 3-0, you got to wonder if you know what Molina might be thinking. But again, 2-1, you never know.
pickoff throw off the glove of Cirillo, and it's 4-0.
I think they might have had him. I mean, they might have had him if it was a good throw. But that happens a lot of times with a right-handed hitter up, and you try and pick off at third. You try and throw over the hitter as opposed to clearing behind or in front of him. And I think that's what happened. Watch Damian right over the top of the hitter. The arm drops a little bit, and Cirillo not able to come up with it.
And that's followed up by ball 4. Last night and this afternoon, the Brewers struggling defensively.
I think a good throw gets him. Unfortunately, the throw a bit high. A lot high.
Obvious thing about the St. Louis Cardinals, even though they had been struggling coming in offensively, there is enough track record with this club and enough damage done offensively. You cannot give them extra chances.
No.
And you cannot hand them runs.
Can't give anybody extra chances, particularly a team that can hit the ball at the ballpark like the Cardinals can. This is a good offense, just waiting to put it all together, and they're starting to feel it up there.
Back to the mound. Davis thinks about getting Molina and does so. Nice play. We're talking about Molina, like his brothers, not being fleet of foot, and he is erased. And there's at least a step in the right direction for the Brewers.
This one not nearly as good a bunt as his first attempt for Chris Carpenter. I thought they might have had a chance, or at least a throw over to first base. But they got one.
So with 2 outs, Carpenter will run the bases. David Eckstein is 0 for 2. And Davis paints the outside corner. Strike 1. David walked on at the University of Florida, unrecruited out of high school. No one lining up to sign this man. Turned himself into an All-American and an academic All-American. Middle of the diamond, J.J. Hardy. Good looking play. Eckstein is erased. Let's see if the Brewers can get something going. They're down 4. For that man, bad day so far for the Brewers. 4-0. The Cardinals lead it. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question. Davis Sheets each won 12 last year. Last Brewers pitcher to win at least 13 games in a season, Al Eldred did it back in 1997. As Damian Miller leads it off, and Eldred struggling, battling an infection, a viral infection, on the disabled list, and get well soon.
And he was throwing the baseball very well for the Cardinals in spring training in the first week. Cardinals have had a rough ride with a disabled list already this year. A couple of pitchers on there. Ex-Brewer Bill Pulsiver placed on DL, left-hander. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach, he has some replacements that have been pretty good.
Rolen recovers, and they just may ship him the Gold Glove now because of that.
Another one?
Well, he's already got 6, if I'm not mistaken, and he knew the catcher was running. He didn't panic, and a nice play. That's not an error.
Check out the hop. He stays in front of it. You see a lot of guys trying to play that on the side. And Damian Miller getting down to first base. Doesn't run all that well.
And Jeff Cirillo takes high, 1-0. Probably a couple of steps out of the box, had that bat in hand, heard the crowd, and had to even kick it up a little bit more. You don't even have to look. You can hear the oohs and the ahs when a ball is kicked around a bit.
Yeah, a lot of times you hit a ground ball like that, you put the head down and run. A little disappointed. Unfortunately, Rolen couldn't handle it. Pretty much of a similar hop to Scott Rolen, that this time plays a little bit differently.
6 seasons of 25 or more home runs and a Gold Glove in the same season.
There's not a better third baseman in baseball right now. When you combine defense and offense.
And as you talked about last night, certainly can play shortstop. Position occupied right now by David Extown. 2-1 the count on Chris Magruder. To the University of Washington in Magruder. You football fans, John Kitna is his cousin. And he brought some of the Brewers over to a Bengals workout last year. Kitna, of course, the quarterback there. Magruder is erased. Albert Pujols with a chance to swing the bat once again. We'll see if Doug Davis can handle him. 4-0, the Cardinals lead it. Bill Hall. A piece of lumber there he hopefully will use with some damage later on. You know, I struggled, Bill, early on in Fantasy Camp 05, your fine camp, Brewers Fantasy Camp.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the end of camp that I went with the Bill Hall bat that I got things going. Really a strong finish. You know, made a statement as I left town. No tape on the one I used.
No, it didn't have the knob on it like that. You know, a little bit of a counterbalance. You don't get one of those calluses on the bottom of your hand, the bottom hand, when you have it taped up like that.
And that would be calluses, obviously, from a lot of work in the cage.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I tell you, Chad, it's a good bat.
I tell you, you see Bill Hall in that dugout. I mean, he's looking like he's ready for some action. Check him out. Look at those shades. Got the batting gloves all ready. He's ready to go. Look at that. I want a pair of those. Maui Jim make those kind?
I have some for you. Some new Maui Jims. You know, even though the truck got back from Arizona, what, a week and a half ago, I still haven't grabbed my bag.
I'm not sure if you want to tell that story.
Well, my washing machine works too.
And you know, Tony Milioti was just dying for you to get those clothes to the washing machine.
Albert Pujols 0 for 2 if you combine his at-bats to start last night and tonight. Big adjustments both times.
Yeah, well, he can go to right field. A curveball, he hits it to right. And today, fastball up, he hits it to left. So, yeah, he does use the whole field pretty well. Not just to spray the ball around, but big flies.
Nice cut fastball, strike one. Not only side-to-side movement, but good downward arc there.
So you're saying that you still have your clothes from spring training in the clubhouse?
In a suitcase in the clubhouse.
That's not so bad. I mean, it's mostly shorts, right?
All shorts, you know.
Did you wash them before you packed them up?
Yes, I did.
All right. Well,
Yes, I did.
that's key.
A lot of, you know, when I was out there, a lot of tank tops, mesh T-shirts, mesh sleeveless T-shirts.
That'd be different if a suitcase was still in there after perhaps, you know, an 8-day road trip.
Another cutter misses in. A couple of pair of Dolphin shorts.
They, you know, after 8 days, when you quarantine a suitcase like that.
Which would be the next road trip for us.
That's why I mentioned it.
You folks enjoy. And you know me. As Davis sets for a 1-1. Changed up on him there, 1-2. That was the pitch Ben Sheets finally got Pujols with last night. A changeup, struck him out with a high change.
I haven't seen too many of those today, and also haven't seen too many of those big overhand curveballs that Doug throws so well.
Shoots that one foul. I mean, shirts like that, I don't know how that guy actually got in there. I mean, maybe Tony's starting to hand my gear out now.
He's got it on backwards, doesn't he?
No. Big fan of that
that's
shirt.
his name, isn't it? Isn't that supposed to be on the back?
That's that's Fostilla. Big fan of Fostilla.
What is that?
Can't help it. Fostilla 3. Is it rugby or soccer? I need to speak with Director of Team Travel Dan Larea. Got him, and he has now struck out 3 times in as many days, although he has homered twice as well. And again, to remind you, coming into yesterday's game, no strikeouts in spring training, no strikeouts first week and a half.
Yeah, and before yesterday, he hadn't struck out since Ben Sheets struck him out the last series of the season. That pitch out of the strike zone, a little bit higher than the pitch that he was able to hit out of the ballpark the time before.
He's got those 2 homers, but I think Albert, as he told me this morning, would tell you still right now he's not totally comfortable yet. I mean, he's got the 2 homers.
He's getting there.
Yeah, he certainly is. They're talking about the scouting meeting yesterday. Cardinals preparing for the Brewers pitchers. And they were going around the room talking about what different pitchers had. Ben Sheets' name came up. And it was at that point that they mentioned, you know, he's got a fastball, curveball, and a changeup. And Scott Rolen, who is in the box now, said he doesn't have a changeup that he throws to any of us, only to you, Albert. He's still trying to figure out how to get you out.
Yeah. Al McRae, the hitting coach for the Cincinnati or St. Louis Cardinals.
A good one.
Not a bad hitter in his own day, right?
Two and one. Had good coaching staff. I mean, both these teams have good coaching staffs. Cohesive. Tony La Russa delegates just like Ned Yost does. Neither manager. Control freaks.
Got to believe, though, there's a little bit more downtime and more of a comfort level for Hal McRae dealing with the type of offense that the Cardinals throw out there every day. Veterans than perhaps a Butch Weininger. With some young players and guys trying to feel their way, and sometimes that is a full-time job.
2-2 the count. Did some time in that manager's office as well, did Hal McRae, in his first year as the hitting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. .290 career hitter, 68 to 87. Wow. Must have been in. It's 3-2.
Brewers have not been very happy with that strike zone from Fielding Culbreth today. Not at all. would imagine this is going to be Doug's last inning. His pitch count's getting up there toward 100, and he's due to bat second in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Shot foul. Rolen's going to get another bat. And while he does, let's kick it on down to Bob Brainerd and shift gears, talk a little bit of hockey with a good friend of ours.
Thanks, Darren. Yeah, the Admirals are under new ownership, and apparently the team president role could be filled by anybody. Actually, no, it's filled by former media director with the Brewers, John Greenberg. John, congratulations, but we're going to miss you here.
I appreciate that. I'm going to miss being here for sure, but this is a wonderful opportunity for me, and with the new ownership group, we're really looking forward to turning the hockey show around and making another big entertainment experience for folks in Milwaukee.
As Rolen dumps one into center field and makes it back to first, the runners at the corners. John, how did this all come about? Because it came about quickly, didn't it?
It really did. It was back about the second week of spring training, when actually in the game season. And Harris Turner gave me a call and said that he was going to be buying the Admirals and he was looking for a president. I really thought he was just looking for names of other people, and I was going to give him some suggestions. And then he said, "No, it's you we want." And, I was certainly flattered by that. And, it was a lot of thought and a lot of discussion with my wife Shannon. And when it all came down to it, it was too good of an opportunity to pass up.
John Greenberg giving up the baseball, taking the puck. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pitching change here at Miller Park. Doug Davis out. We'll be back. The Cards are up 4-0.
And this season, he has really improved from his last few years.
Well, and he's been a lot more aggressive, more on the attack early in the count, not nibbling as much as he was last year. And he's in a pickle right now.
Double play coming if he's on. Strike one. There's that movement that could induce the ground ball.
Yep, sinker, slider, and split fingered pitch that he uses as his changeup. Can't give up any more. Not the way Carpenter's been throwing the baseball today.
Rolen with a homer. Pujols with a homer. And a throwing error by Damian Miller, plating the 4th run. Good slider. 0-2.
Has a big break on it. That's the one that he throws a little bit harder than the slower one, almost like a curveball. Could use another one of those right now. Reggie Sanders does have the tendency to go after high fastballs when he's behind in the count. But you got to be careful with him. Got to make him way high.
And that one was right down the middle. He got away with one.
Yeah.
And the Brewers will take it.
That wasn't high enough, was it?
Holy cow.
Well, you can see the way Damian was setting up that he wanted a high fastball around the letters.
Surprised him, didn't he?
West threw that one, I'll tell you, right down the middle on an 0-2 pitch, about belt high. And Sanders popped it up. He's going to be seeing that in his sleep tonight. Wow. Just pulled off it enough to pop it up. My goodness.
Hey, with some bad breaks in this game and some miscues, they'll take a break and let's see if they can get back in the dugout. Davis so far 4 runs, 4 1/3 innings. He's responsible for both runners out there. 3 of those 4 are earned. Strike one. I was talking with Wes before the game. I said, you're kind of the long guy. You can't pull for anyone to struggle to get work. He said, absolutely not. He said, but I just know that it comes. That's part of the game. I've got to be ready.
He's a long guy now, but again, the bullpen really hasn't shaken out completely yet. And if he continues to pitch well in these situations, he may get a different opportunity.
One of the setup men, maybe.
Who knows?
When you go a few days, they say, will you throw a bullpen? Trying to get the work. And you can't, I guess, throw too much because you may pitch later on in the day. He said I'll throw about a 15-20 pitch bullpen just to feel and touch the curveball and the slider. And then that's it. Get out of there. See if you can get the Brewers back in the dugout. Strand a pair. He didn't mean to on a slider. Lyle runs it down. Had him check swinging on that slider, and a nice job by the right-hander and the Iowa Hawkeye. Lyle Overbay on it every step of the way. Come on, boys, let's get some runs. J.J. Hardy takes strike one. And after going after the first pitch back in the second inning, takes a pitch and evens things up at 1-1. We were talking about it yesterday during the telecast, how Hardy has been putting everything in play this year. That one misses high and is yet to strike out. There, as a matter of fact, are two guys on the diamond who put everything in play. Percentage of swing and misses. X9 and Hardy, it doesn't happen. Let's go back to that because some pretty good hitters on that list.
Not too many power hitters on that list. I guess Paulo Duque can ride the ball out of the ballpark on occasion.
There's X9, the other man we're talking about. I want to remind everyone, well, I'm not going to be there. So, Bob,
I'll be there.
Will you do this?
Tonight, right here on FSN North, watch the Bucks take on the Orlando Magic as we salute the Fox Company Marines back from Iraq. Live coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. only on FSN North.
You working that game?
I'm working that game. I'm heading downtown after this. And
right.
maybe Paschke and McLaughlin will let me get a word in edgewise. It's hard to up here.
Now, let me ask you now. Now, I'm not allowed to do those, right? Now, why can he keep doing them?
You can do the next one.
No, I'm not. No, Fox has told me I am not to do any reads. Did he get clearance to do that?
I don't know. I didn't talk with Tom Ponke
What
this
is
morning.
the deal?
Well, this
I did 'em in
actually at the
spring
bottom
training.
here it says.
I did them in spring training. They
This
sounded
says
pretty
cleared
good.
for Bob and Darren only.
Yeah, there's a note there. There's a note. So join us tonight.
Yeah.
Would you like to try it? I think you should try it.
I am not going to read anything until I get clearance. I don't want to get in trouble.
Here's what I want to do. We're going to watch Obi's at bat because he's a good hitter. But whatever
maybe
happens after the at bat, I would like for you to do it with the music and the graphic and everything.
Maybe I can practice. I'll practice at home tonight. Maybe tomorrow.
I think you need to step up and show it. You can do it now.
Can I take that home tonight?
No, get ready because they're going to roll it.
No, I'm not doing it.
I'm telling you.
I've got to be prepared.
It's a cold read, man.
Besides, I don't. This isn't typed. I don't read this stuff. That's got to be typed out. It's got to be typed out.
It's not typed, he says. It is handwritten. You can't see that. That's
Handwritten.
all right.
That's female penmanship. I can tell.
Which means it's legible. This is actually John Walsh's.
It's no. I don't. Yeah, it's got to be Brian Michalogic, who incidentally is celebrating a birthday today.
Associate producer Brian Michalogic, who puts together all our fine graphics. How old would he be? 26 today? Is that right?
9.
9 years old?
Yeah, it's 9.
Out to Scott Rolen. Throw is high. Onto the bag comes Pujols. You ready?
I'm not doing it.
Go. Here it comes.
I'm not doing it. No,
Roll it.
We're waiting. I'm not doing it.
Wow.
I've got to get permission.
Come on.
I got to get
Go.
permission. Tonight, right here on FSN North, watch the Bucks take on the Orlando Magic as we salute the Fox Company Marines back from Iraq. Live coverage begins at 7:30.
Yes.
How was that?
Yes.
You got to be kidding me. Huh? I can read. If nothing else, I had a good reading teacher at Clemson.
Yeah, you got a pink slip in the mail now.
Not only did I do a read, but I'm wearing a golf shirt. Look out. That's
1-0 the
too.
count on Brady Clark. Well, it was a little beat, kind of a hip-hop beat. I was kind of getting a little something going there. All on the ground, all to the left side, and the Brewers, without a fight, go down 1, 2, 3. Back with us. The Brewers down 4-0 at the hands of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Taguchi to lead things off against right-handed hurler Wes Obermuller. Sinks a fastball low. Taguchi 0 for 2 today. And was the starting left fielder in Game 1 of the World Series last year against the Boston Red Sox. Slaps that one into right field. Magruder pounces on it, so it's only a single. And a nice job there. But Matsui in 0-3 with the Yankees and Shinjo in 0-2 with the San Francisco Giants against the Angels. Those are the 3 Japanese-born players to have earned starts in World Series play. Taguchi's first hit of the day, second of the season. Final book on Doug Davis: 4 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, a couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts, 2 home runs, one by Rolen, one by Pujols. He finishes this outing with an ERA in the season of 3.63.
And it wasn't so much the walks for Doug Davis as it was getting behind in the count and having to throw strikes. That's what hurt him today. An awful lot of pitches.
I'll tell you, the reaction after he surrendered that home run to Albert Pujols kind of summed up his day.
Yeah, frustrating. But again, when you don't have a whole lot of runs to work with, mainly none, it makes everything you give up, you know, tough to swallow. I mean, 2 days in a row, the Brewers have not been able to post a run on the board.
No balls and 2 strikes to count.
Hey, the Cardinals have had some interesting plays today. I mean, Molina was on first base early. He took off, and Carpenter dropped down a bunt. And then you had the hit and run with Taguchi up there, the man at second. He took off and he slapped it to second base, and they just did the run and bunt again. You don't see that very often. Making up plays here today.
Well, they got a little bit of offense last night, Bill, as they won 3-0, but Ben Sheets with his 2 errors actually helped their offense. So they're not still where they want to be.
I mean, the run and bunt is something you don't see a whole lot of, because if you pop it up, it's a double play. You're out of the inning. You either run, hit and run, or you bunt. Very rarely do you see the run and bunt.
Strikeout there. Awkward swing had him fooled badly, and Carpenter, who has pitched so well, gets ready to swing the bat for himself here in the 6th inning.
There's that slider off the outside corner. When Obi's able to get ahead in the count, that's an effective pitch for him. When you throw that pitch on you know, first pitch or even 1-1, guys really aren't going to swing at it. With 2 strikes, they've got to protect.
This will be the 3rd attempt at a sacrifice bunt this afternoon for Chris Carpenter. Got one down in the 2nd. But in the 4th inning, they managed to, Doug Davis did, throw out, nail Yadier Molina on the front end of that bunt play at second base. And that one is foul. You know, Wes Obermueller, and you talk about guys that take a while to develop. Damian Miller has admitted, I was a very late comer, 7 years in the minors. Wes Obermueller, as a senior at the University of Iowa, was 1-9 with an ERA of 6.83. Signed basically because of his arm. He threw very hard back then. As that one is bunted, Miller takes a shot at first and puts him away. Good sack bunt.
Yeah, that was a signing based on the fact that Obermueller is such a good athlete. You know, shortstop, he could hit. He had a good arm. He's, you know, the teams pretty much figured he could learn how to pitch, which he has. He's continued to get better and more aggressive. The more aggressive Wes Obermueller is, the better off he's going to be. He's had to battle that the last couple of years.
And so you're given the signing bonus, as Bill mentioned, based upon that arm and being a hard thrower. Then he had shoulder surgery after the 2000 season. There goes the hard throwing part of it. Doesn't throw nearly as hard as he used to, and he's almost, Bill, over the last couple of years had to reinvent himself. And a credit to him, a guy who several years ago, as a matter of fact, let's go back to 1998, he wasn't even a pitcher in college. Just 7 years ago, and here he is in the major leagues,
yeah,
with an arm surgery mixed in. Everyone comes at different speeds. One and one the count. Eckstein hovers over that plate. And Miller blocks that one up. You know, Eckstein, a guy, as we mentioned, walked on at Florida. Like Obermueller, who was highly recruited to go to Iowa. Walked on, turned himself into an All-American, signed with the Red Sox. They just basically made him available on waivers a couple of years after that. The Angels claimed him for nothing. There he goes to the big leagues.
Yeah.
White Sox beat the Mariners today 2-1. Time of game 1 hour 39 minutes.
Man.
Inside corner, 3-2.
Right on the inside corner. That's a good pitch. Eckstein apparently looking away for something.
In that game, Burley the winner, Franklin the loser. Both through complete games. 197 pitches between the two of them in the complete game.
And Konerko hit 2 home runs.
He ran really fast, though. He didn't Cadillac it at all.
Yeah, he sprinted around there.
Like
yeah.
that. Like Eckstein goes to first.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me with that time of game?
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
In front of 25,000 fans and officially 1 hour 39 minutes.
Paul Konerko now with 6 home runs already.
Neither team with a hit today with runners in scoring position. The Cardinals have used the home run for 3 of their runs. And a throwing error by Damian Miller for the 4th. That's a pretty good city if you're the Mariners, although you hope to win, but to play 139 in Chicago, that's a pretty good thing, actually.
Yeah. That's a good city to have a lot of time to kill.
Here comes Brady Clark, and the Brewers down 4-0. Trying to scrap and scrape, get that donut off the scoreboard. Brewers trying to get something going. Hey, whatever works. Rally dance. I've seen Rock do that dance before on the plane.
The robot.
Middle of the diamond. Let's see if it leaks through. David Eckstein. Throw high. Got it. Somehow Pujols stayed on that bag. Somehow.
Wow. Well, apparently everybody agrees. Davey Nelson normally would have a comment or two with the first base umpire, Eric Cooper. Question is, does Pujols have the toe in the bag? Looks like it. You can see Davey Nelson. He's right there. I mean, if he thought at all that Pujols didn't have his foot up there, which he did. Look at Davey. Look at, I mean, there's a guy right there that can give you the best indication. If he doesn't argue, we have nothing to say.
First pitch swinging. 2 outs.
Last 8 outs recorded by Chris Carpenter have been ground balls. So that sinker continues to get better. What do you think? You agree with Davey?
That he was on the bag?
That he was on the bag?
Yes.
Okay, I saw you really looking closely at that monitor.
Just hoping at some point Carpenter will have to throw a few pitches like that. 1-0, or 0-1, I should say. He's only thrown 84 as he works here in the 6th inning. Rolled out to Pujols. Funky spin. 1, 2, 3. Go the Brewers.
You're watching Brewers baseball on FSN North.
Toyota game summary, bit of a series summary as we take a look at Rolen with a big home run. Pujols with homers in each of the first 2 games, and the Brewers scuffling with the bats, Bill, and with the gloves in games 1 and 2 against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, 3 of the 7 runs for the St. Louis Cardinals have been unearned runs, and it started last night. Ben Sheets fielding a bunt, throwing it away. He would make an error later on in that inning to score another run. Let's see a throw wide. Overbay not able to come up with it. Damian Miller trying to pick up a man at third base into left field. 4 errors so far in the series for the Brewers, and before the series started, they had 3 as a team.
And the 2 by Sheets last night matched his season high. He had 2 in 1 inning. He had never had more than 2 in a season. Strike 1 to Albert Pujols.
Not a good combination when you're making errors and not scoring any runs.
High bouncing ball. Cirillo goes up the ladder and throws in time for the out. Pujols is retired.
You know, the thing about the errors, if the Brewers have been scoring some runs, I mean, they scored some last night and they were able to score today, I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about the errors.
No.
Really. I mean, those types of things are really highlighted. You know, guys not running hard and making errors and things like that really are under a microscope when the team's not swinging the bat.
And fans will go to a baseball game like today. You know, maybe they go to a couple of games every year. And they will also leave a game like today if, in fact, and you hope it doesn't happen, but if the Brewers don't get it going offensively, they'll use the word flat, as if they didn't try. You know, they looked flat today. The Brewers really looked lifeless and flat.
Yeah.
Well, that's a byproduct of not hitting.
Absolutely.
It's not a lack of effort.
Yeah. You don't look flat when you're scoring 12 runs, right?
Right, and you know what? Teams have scored 12 runs,
and they were flat.
They may have been flat.
They lose 13-12.
That is another fist job base hit for Scott Rolen. He had that blast back in the first, but his last couple of hits have been fought off and dumped into the shallow part of the outfield. And started to come, Pujols and Rolen.
Yeah, well, you knew it wasn't going to be long. A home run today. Albert Pujols, and then Scott Rolen with a blast on a pitch down and in for a couple of RBIs in the first inning.
Brewers started play today with a record of 5-4. St. Louis 4-4, and Houston 5-4 as well. Half a game separating all 3 of those, with Houston and Milwaukee tied entering play. Houston has been defeated by Cincinnati 3-2. Milton won his 2nd game of the year. Headed with the loss, although Andy pitched well and Danny Graves with a save without a home run. No home run in Great American Ballpark stopped the presses.
And Cincinnati wins without hitting one. That stopped the presses again. They score a lot of runs with the home run ball.
So the Reds now, they're 5-5. The Mets edged Florida 4-3. That's a final. Atlanta and Philadelphia just getting underway. Cubs tonight are at Pittsburgh, by the way. If we didn't tell you or you didn't catch it earlier, Chicago White Sox beating Seattle 2-1 in an hour and 34 minutes.
Amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing. That's a dream come true when you're calling a spring training game.
Yeah.
Time like that. Make a tee time. 3-2. Detroit leads Kansas City 3-1. That's in the top of the 9th inning. Sweeney has homered for KC, his first. Minnesota beat Cleveland 6-4. Gassner the win. Mill with the loss. Nathan his 4th save. And Torrey Hunter has 3 home runs already. Slider driven toward right. Magruder into the corner. Puts that one away. And Jim Edmonds, who has been battling the flu the last couple of days, will get in at bat.
Apparently feeling much better. Tony La Russa giving him the early part of the game off with left-hander Doug Davis out on the mound, and you certainly upgrade your defense with Edmonds in center field.
Edmonds already with 3 home runs this year. And he takes strike 1. Last year, what a season he had, hitting .301 with 42 home runs. 100 RBIs, 100 walks as well.
Look out in left center. That's where he hits him.
It's a great view of J.J. Hardy back behind the bag at second base. On the infield, it's so interesting. This is what you're talking about. On the infield, they play him to pull. On the outfield, a step or two to the opposite field.
Yeah.
Kent Bottenfield and Adam Kennedy went to the Angels for Jim Edmonds prior to the 2000 season. He's at 42, 30, 28, 39, and 42 home runs a year since.
And arguably the best center fielder in the game. He and Andrew Jones pretty much battle that out every year. You can see J.J. Hardy shaded almost right behind second base. A lot of room in the gap in right center.
Those numbers huge for the Cardinals since putting on a Redbirds uniform. Look at that far right column, the OPS numbers, ridiculous. Walks a lot as well. Fights that breaking ball off, base it into left field. You know, you've talked about it as a player, and understanding your perspective better really than anyone else is that when you are under the weather, have a little bit of a flu, you do very little up there.
Inside out, watch Edmonds. He just tries, he pulls the hands in and just fights it off into left field. See, no stride at all. He just picks the heel up in the front foot. Very well balanced in his swing. It's surprising that he strikes out as much as he does. You're right. You know, a lot of times you're not feeling all that well. You're not trying to do a whole lot. You're real relaxed. You basically just want to get through the game, and you end up with a 2-3 hit day. I guess the moral of the story is when you try and do too much and overswing, you normally don't have a whole lot of results. It's tough to tell your brain that when you're feeling strong.
It's pitchers too, you know.
Yeah, start feeling strong, and you know, you're getting some hits, and now you don't want 2 singles. You want a single and a home run. You start overswing. The same thing with a pitcher. The harder you try and throw, the less velocity you end up getting. Mechanics all messed up.
One and 2 the count. Miller, Cirillo, Magruder hoping to get things going in the next half inning in the bottom of the 7th. Brewers have to hold it right here, though. Breaking ball, base hit left field. They're sending him on around. Carlos Lee comes up throwing. Not in time. 5-0. That hurts.
Jim Edmonds extending the inning with a little bloop in the left field on a pretty good pitch by West. Just fights it off. That's where contact's so important, to extend the inning, get a rally going. And Taguchi got to pitch up in the strike zone with 2 strikes. There's that slider. It just spins. It just stays right there. You can see the dot on that baseball as it got to Taguchi and bagged it into left field. And Scott Rolen with a pretty good jump, able to score.
Want to remind everyone, kids 6 to 13 can enter at their local Culver's restaurant for the Culver's Major League Moment. Every Sunday home game, including tomorrow against the Cardinals. 9 lucky kids will be on the field with a Brewers player during the national anthem. For more details, call 414-902-4000 or head on into Culver's, your favorite Culver's restaurant in your area, for more details. Here's Yadier Molina. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Cardinals now lead it 5-0. They've out-hit the Crew now 10-4. Lower part of the strike zone, 0-1. Edmonds and Taguchi on the base paths. We're talking about the Mets beating Florida 4-3. Pedro Martinez had another strong start. Got a no decision, 7 innings, 3 hits allowed, 2 runs, 9 strikeouts. CRA in the season now 2.45.
Turned out to be a pretty good move for Pedro, huh?
Turned out to be a very good move.
No doubt. I'm looking forward to seeing Martinez when the Brewers go into New York and the Mets come here. Of course, the Brewer hitters aren't looking forward to it. One of the best changeups in the game, Pedro Martinez.
Everyone forgets about that pitch when they're talking about Pedro. 2-2.
Everybody talks about, you know, mid-90s fastball and the tenacious approach out there in the mound, and he's got a great changeup. Fastball changeup. See more and more pitchers going with that.
Carlos Beltran 3 for 4 with an RBI today, hitting .326. In on the knuckles, into left center field. Lee with a diving play. El Caballo trotting in, settling down. Whoa, boy, just at the proper spot. Brewers down 5-0. Cirillo, Chris Magruder. So Taguchi moves to right field as Jim Edmonds is now in center field. And driven out there over the head of Edmonds as he eases back, and he can't get there. That looked like a giant effort just for him to go get that baseball and throw it back into the cutoff man. It's a double for Miller.
Kind of surprises you, doesn't it? I mean, Jim Edmonds normally makes that play without a problem. Apparently under the weather, still having a problem with that flu bug, and Davian gives this one a pretty good ride to center, but you get so accustomed to Edmonds making this catch, he doesn't even come close. Drifting on that baseball into deep center field.
He's a player that you really shouldn't read his body language or you won't like him as a player.
Yeah.
And that was a good example right there,
yeah,
because he's not that type of guy.
First base runner for the Brewers since the 3rd inning. Lyle over base hit in the 9th.
Cue the choir with that one.
I should say base hit to right in the 3rd inning.
All right, let's see if the Crew can get something going. Cirillo, then Magruder. 1-0 the count on Jeff. 2-0 the count on Jeff. Should they stack up a couple of runs? Don't forget Russell Branyan not in there today because of his shoulder, and throwing has nothing to do with swinging the bat. So he's available if they need a long one later on.
I wonder if Jeff Jenkins can swing a bat today.
Battling the flu bug much like Jim Edmonds. Good pitch.
That's a good take by Cirillo. I mean, the last thing you want to do is beat a ball into the ground on a 2-0 count. Make this guy work.
No, 4-pitch inning in the 6th.
Yeah, he hasn't even thrown 90 pitches yet.
Hit on a line. Miller gets back. Started out down the heart of the plate with enough run to get in on the hands of Jeff Cirillo.
Miller just not able to get those hands in far enough to get the barrel of the bat on it, down on the trademark. Good base running by Miller not to get doubled off.
Switch hitter Chris Magruder batting left-handed. Curveball, strike one. Same game time tomorrow, 1:05. Jason Marquis, young hard-throwing sinker specialist Victor Santos, pitched very effectively against the Cubs in his first outing. Couple of hops out to second base. Miller moves to third, but just like that, there are 2 outs.
Yeah, with Marquis going tomorrow afternoon, I mean, another sinker. I think the Brewers have had it up to their eyeballs and sinking fastballs in this series, huh?
Yes, and there have been no pitches at their eyeballs to handle. Everything's at the knees. J.J. Hardy is now 3 for 25 this year. 90 feet away is the first run for the Brewers in this series. Shutout last night by Suppan and Isringhausen. Today, Carpenter doing the deed. Molina calls for a breaking ball, and the 1-0 is a slider, cut fastball, if you will, 1-1. You would have to think, with as tough as this guy's been to strike out this year, hasn't struck out as we've documented, that sooner or later things will turn in his direction as he takes outside. And we were talking about it last night, Bill, how he has only swung and missed twice this year. The flip side of that may be he may be swinging at some pitches, making some contact at pitches he shouldn't.
Well, maybe not driving the ball like he should be, trying too early in the count. Sometimes early in the count, you just got to let it go. Forget about contact. There's a good example right here. 3-1 pitch. Get something you like and just swing out of your shoes. Try and hit one out of here.
He takes a walk. Wes Obermueller called back, although he handles the bat very nicely, and Russell Branyan with a chance to make it a 2-run game.
Yeah, I would have been very surprised to see Wes grab a bat in that situation.
Now you said it.
I mean, you got to go for the gusto right here. This is the opportunity that Ned has been waiting for, to throw in Branyan. A couple of men on. I mean, it's been a while since the Brewers have had 2 men on base back in the 3rd inning. So here they are. You can get back in the game with 1 swing.
Branyan, both of those home runs coming during the home opener. One of them out there in center field off of the scoreboard, a monster shot. And off to a good start this season. .308 batting average, the 2 home runs. He's driven in 7. You dream about a home run, but you'd take an RBI single here to extend this inning. One for 5 in career at bats against Carpenter. 1 strikeout, a double, and a couple of walks. Right throwing shoulder bothering him a little bit. That's why he's missed the last 2 games. And a breaking ball he lays off.
Situations like this, Carpenter has not really messed around with the inside part of the plate a whole lot. Branyan's got to be thinking up the middle, stay in there, not trying to pull it. Everything's going to be away. Guess not.
2-0.
I should say everything for a strike is going to be away.
Russell grew up in Warner Robins, Georgia. Began his career in '94 with the Indians. Has always had massive home run power. And has always battled to swing and miss. 3-0. Brady Clark waits on deck.
Got to take one here. Brewers need base runners. Tempting to allow Brandy to swing at a 3-0 pitch, but you'd like to see a walk and then maybe a blast.
Ball 4.
First 2 walks of the game issued by Carpenter today. Perhaps tiring, getting up.
He's over 100.
Over the 100 mark. A lot of activity out in that Cardinal bullpen.
I think it's a lefty and a righty, Flores and Reyes, if I'm not mistaken. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. You could hear the phone ringing down there, and they will answer it. They're not ready, so he'll buy a little time.
Yes, they are. They better
Well,
be
I guess
ready.
so.
They better be.
Maybe he said they are ready.
Tony La Russa wasted the absolute
didn't.
last second to pop out of that dugout.
Carpenter throwing a gem. The Brewers now get into the bullpen. Maybe that's a good thing. Getting home, working that 6-day week, checking us out. Brady Clark, one of those guys. Shortstop David Eckstein, the other. The blue-collar boy who makes his way toward the plate has a chance to be a big-time hero.
No, these are the opportunities that you just want somebody to go up there to make some contact and just peck away. You don't expect a long ball. Ducks on the pond for Brady Clark.
Al Reyes, former Brewer, one of 4 Cardinals relievers to pitch with the Brewers. Eldred, Reyes, Ray King, and Pulsiver.
Al Reyes has done a nice job resurrecting his career with his ball club. A hard thrower. Got good stuff.
Outside, 1-0.
Well, Al Reyes, another one of those guys with an outstanding changeup. I mean, fastball changeup will also flip up a slider. But in situations like this, it's going to be the 2 big pitches.
If he gets it out of here, grand slam number 1 in the career of Brady Clark. Inside, 2-0. Nowhere to put him.
Well, if you're Brady Clark now, you're looking for a pitch right down the middle. If you don't get it, don't swing. Al Reyes, the pressure's all on him right now. That's a tying run on deck.
Two and 1. That certainly wasn't the pitch he wanted to go after. Not to say that was a ball, but what can you do with this pitch?
I don't know if that's what Reyes wanted to do. A little bit too close on 2-0. The bases loaded, but he's got good natural sink on his fastball.
That looked like he started it down the middle. Junior Spivey represents the tying run if they can get it to him. Came out of his shoes there, didn't he?
Yeah, Brady tried to put one in the seats. Tried to be the hero. Of course, a home run doesn't tie it up.
Forget the home run, just score a run at home. Last 2 nights they haven't been able to do it, or last night and today, better said. These are the kind of guys, the Clarks, the Ecksteins, that you hate in this situation.
Yeah. Just trying to lay the bat on the baseball, not trying to muscle up. It's been woeful with runners in scoring position so far this year. Still looking for their first hit with a man in scoring position in this series. Can't think of a better time to break out of it. Look like a change right there. Low 80s on the fastball, and got it up in the zone though. Brady able to get a piece of it. Reyes is one of those guys that's not going to mess around and try and hit the corners too much. We talked about that natural movement. So you go up there, you're looking for a pitch, and you better be ready to swing.
Changeup, boy, he got under that one.
Yes, he did. He
that
gave
elbow down low.
Gave it away. Now you know it's coming. Got to be the fastball.
Miller, Hardy, Brandon can take off as they rise to their feet here at home in Miller Park. The runners go. The 3-2 pitch. Line fair. Into the corner. That will go. Miller scores. Hardy scores. Brandon is being sent on around. He will score, and Brady Clark cleans the table. You do it, blue collar boy. You do it.
Now the Brewers finally able to get the skunk out of the box after a couple of days. Fastball sinker down and in, just drops the head on it and rips it down the line. And on a 3-2 pitch, runners had an early start. Everybody able to score.
Change up is high. The Brewers first run scored since the 8th inning on Wednesday. That 4-run 8th inning against Pittsburgh. 15 2/3 of shutout baseball thrown at the Brewers. It's over now. Breaking ball, 1-1.
And as well as Chris Carpenter threw today, 3 earned runs tacked on to his line. That's hard to believe, isn't it, the way he's threw?
Reyes had inherited 3 runners, none had scored. He had retired all 4 first batters he had faced. 1-2. Junior single, struck out looking, and grounded out to short. The bugaboo that's been biting him so far this year, he has 15 strikeouts. See if we can shorten up here. But the Brewers get back in this game. It's a whole different game now. Brady Clark, huge hit.
They break through against Tony La Russa and the St. Louis Cardinals. Hey, the Cardinals skipper, by the way, is in your local bookstores. His latest book is called 3 Nights in August. It's penned by Buzz Bissinger. If that name sounds familiar, it should. He also wrote Friday Night Lights, and that was pretty good stuff. In the book, Buzz gets access during a 3-game series, exclusive access with Tony La Russa, gets all his strategies, including when to throw at batters and which body parts you should hit when you do throw at batters. By the way, La Russa will be signing his book at the Harry Schwartz bookstore in Shorewood on Oakland Avenue tonight at 7 p.m. So if you stop by and get an autographed copy, that's great, but also have fun with him. Ask him why he put Al Reyes in the 7th inning.
Thank you very much, Bob Brainerd. I think I'll stay away from that. Derek Turnbow comes on. Bill, he was flat out lightning bolts coming out of his arm last night, and strikes.
Well, yeah, that's the key. I mean, there's no doubt about the fact that he can throw, but he's got to be able to throw it over the plate. 1 strikeout in yesterday's appearance, a perfect 3 up and 3 down. Need to see that again here today.
Roger Cedeno called upon to hit in the pitcher spot. How about the businessman mixing in a book signing on the road trip? On 1 hop, Jeff Cirillo puts him away. You like that? Turnbow, and when you talk to him, will throw a lot of 2-seamers, even though he throws as hard as he does, and it helps on occasions like that.
Sometimes it doesn't have time to sink, though. He's throwing it so hard. velocity won't allow it to sink.
These two guys, Turnbow and Eckstein, and I speak from experience, were teammates together. Turnbow a Rule 5 pick, and Eckstein signed off of waivers. And they were lockered next to each other in the corner in Anaheim. And weeks would go by and no one would speak. Weeks. I'm talking about weeks.
Yeah, I don't know about Eckstein, but I certainly know Turnbow. He doesn't have a whole lot to say.
Well, David's come out of his shell now, but Derek's still pretty quiet.
He's very quiet. Yeah, Turnbow. Guys in the clubhouse don't have any problem giving him business, though.
No. I think when he gets around his mates, and specifically his bullpen mates, he lets it fly a little more.
In other words, when we're not around?
That's right. Ned Yost, as Derek falls behind to his former Angels teammate, 3-0. Ned was talking about power the other day and how Jenkins would get his power going soon. And he said, you know, speaking of power, we have one of the great right-handed power hitters as he walks Eckstein. I should say he sprints Eckstein. Then Derek Turnbow, and he said now he's only a .330 hitter. But in left center field there is a Pepsi sign on the scoreboard out there. And an E on that sign is represented in the word Pepsi. Derek Turnbow during batting practice has hit it on that E or above a couple of times already.
Yeah. All or nothing, though, from what I gather.
Yes.
No, I think he did. The first time he did that, the next swing he missed. So he's got to work on the consistency.
Well, it was funny. One of the riders and one of the new folks in town followed it up by saying, "Oh, well, good power. Would you use him then if you need a big home run late? If everyone else has been exhausted?" A quick no was followed.
No, thank you.
He's got to throw a strike though here. 4 straight to Eckstein, 95, but it's low. And start walking guys, especially after the Brewers just put a 3 spot on the board. See if he can put it on the ground, get a double play, and get back in the dugout. 1-1. Everyone talks about pitching with a lead, pitching with your team up 4-3 or 5-3. I would argue, especially when a team rallies to get back into a game, this inning is just as important as someone pitching with a lead.
Yeah, Brewers just can't afford to give up any runs in this inning. Had to work too hard to get those 3.
Boy, he spoiled a good pitch, a sinker down and away. Thank goodness for the Crew, it's foul.
Grzelcyk with outstanding bat control. I mean, he had a beautiful hit and run yesterday. Almost undressed Lyle Overbay at first base. I mean, he hits him as hard sometimes as a left-handed pull hitter. And they play him straight away because of that.
Turnbow also throws a split-fingered fastball and a curveball. That's the splitter, and that one gets away. Is it strike 3? It is, and Grzelcyk will reach. Similar play last night. So Taguchi hitting, and they had to appeal. Moeller was able actually to get a ricochet back and throw out Taguchi. Taguchi was late running.
Yeah, Grzelcyk didn't waste any time, though. He's out because first base was already occupied.
By Eckstein, absolutely.
Yeah, he can't run, but
he tried to sell it.
Eckstein can get to second base
on a wild pitch.
And the only way that Grzelcyk would be able to get to first base is if Eckstein was running on the pitch. At that point, first base isn't occupied.
And a nasty splitter. We were talking about the splitter or the breaking ball. That was the splitter. And they will intentionally walk Albert Pujols here.
To get to Scott Rolen. I mean, that gives you an idea of how difficult it is to manage against this club. Choose your poison, right? Rolen's having a heck of a day.
Ned Yost has to about 18 times a year deal with that poison in the other dugout.
And Ned doesn't like to use the intentional walk a whole lot. Fewest times of any team last year.
Metallico getting hot. The way he's moving around, he looks like he's ready. Guys will go fast in their warm-ups, then they'll slow it down. 2 outs. And that got a piece of the home plate umpire there. Ouch. Boy, that'll shake you up big time.
Yeah.
Shoulder, yes?
Right on top of the shoulder, that bone up there, and you feel like you're never going to be able to move again. He'll be all right. Damian Miller most concerned about him because he knows what that feels like. Watch the left shoulder. Guess you can't see it, but he got right on top of there. That is an area that at times can be exposed. You got those big chest protectors and pads on the shoulders, and I'll tell you, that hurts. That really hurts. A lot of times you'll get, even if there's padding there, that ball's coming back so fast. If it gets you just at the right spot in the shoulder, it just numbs everything. It's like hitting the funny bone on the elbow.
So he's all right.
Were you concerned about him? You didn't seem too concerned.
No, I was concerned. I was just watching it play out on my monitors. I have like 7 monitors. I had all sorts of angles checking that. Eckstein and Pujols on the base pads. He goes after a good hard sinker in the low 90s that time. I probably didn't come across too concerned there, did I?
No, I really didn't.
Yeah.
And normally you're real sensitive to those things. You're that kind of guy. Maybe an ooh and ah once in a while.
I gave it an ouch early on.
That's right, you did, didn't you?
I did. I'm trying to stay more level, you know. Don't go as high with the highs and as low with the lows this year. It's my new thing.
Let's not get too wrapped up in it.
No. Overbay, Lee, and Miller. If Turnbow can work out of this one. The 3 hitters due up for the Brewers. Down 5-3 to the Cardinals. That last pitch, 92 miles an hour. Tomorrow, same start time as this afternoon. We'll have it for you. Be on the air at 1 o'clock on FSN. Santos and Marquis. But now it's Turnbow and Rolen. Tennessee native deals it on the ground. They should put him back in the dugout. And can they pick it back up again? Oh my, do the Brewers need some offense? And you know where they could look to get some offense? Lyle Overbay.
Been through there many times.
Flores, appearance number 3 this year. Lyle takes outside. On the ground, boy, they had him defense perfectly. Eckstein playing him to pull nearly behind the bag there, throws him out. Good approach for Lyle. Didn't try to pull that one.
Well, you can't do it. Lefty versus lefty, and Lyle did what he does very well. Shoots it right back through the box. Unfortunately, there's your shortstop. So the shift for the Cardinals works to perfection. Normal defensive position. That's a base hit. Been a lot of ground ball outs in this game tonight or today.
So Flores came on, did his job. Got the one lefty out that he was looking toward. Julian Tavares comes on. It's 5-3. Move. He goes to Julian Tavares. Cardinals lead it by a score of 5-3. And we're certainly glad you're with us. Can you do him the honor? It's his birthday.
Absolutely, young man. There you go. You're circled. He came up to the booth before the ball game and said, "Hey, can you help me out on my birthday? I told my friends I was going to be circled. Don't I'm going to school all embarrassed."
Well done. Making joyful people even more joyful, Bill Schroeder.
That's what I do.
Carlos Lee drives that one toward right field, but with the sink of the ball, Tavares with just enough movement to retire it. Well traveled and pretty combustible Julian Tavares. He's 32 in May. And has been roughed up so far this year.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that lets his emotions get the better of him from time to time. Has had the reputation of a headhunter, throwing at people, throwing at hitters, getting upset with umpires. But he's been around a long time. He's got pretty good stuff, good pitcher.
That solo home run to Carlos Beltran in Game 4 last year. Walked off in a fit of rage. Broke a couple of bones in his hand. Played the rest of the postseason though with a protective wrap on his glove hand. Helped pitch his team into the World Series effectively in Game 6. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Been a rough series for Carlos. 0 for 8.
There's that man again, David Eckstein. Tavares does his job along with Flores. The Brewers now just have one more shot.
Oh, there's been 14 ground ball outs recorded today by Cardinal pitching, including 9 straight outs in the middle of the ball game. Chris Carpenter.
Is that in the notes?
I just dug that out. I extrapolated that out of my scorebook.
I thought I'd throw one of those at you. He didn't know where that baseball was. 0-2. Sanders is single in the first, otherwise all in the air. Speaking of on the ground, Reggie fly out to center, pop up to second, fly to right, the opposite.
I'm not sure if extrapolate's the correct word there.
I think it's perfect. Hold your head up high, young man.
Trying to go back into my advanced math classes.
Turnbow with some heat puts away Sanders.
On 3 pitches. This guy can throw strikes. He's going to be a wonderful addition. I mean, right down the middle of the plate. Didn't move an inch, but good velocity.
And a classic power pitcher follow through with that leg swinging around.
Reminds you a little bit of Goose Gossage. Remember the way he threw his body around out there?
Jay Howell, also reliever for the Dodgers. A couple of other teams had that same type follow through. Be careful though, he'll take one of those fastballs and spray it the other way right out of here, Jim Edmonds.
You know, I think extrapolate, I think, is a good enough term. It might not be perfect, but dug it out. Have you ever extrapolated?
Daily.
Daily, huh?
2-1 to count.
Oh. And there you see the slide step and that big follow through with the back leg and falls off to first base just a bit.
Classic drop and drive too. You can see it right there.
And normally power pitchers really aren't in too good a position to field once they get rid of the baseball, but They don't worry about that too much. They're worried about the velocity. They concentrate on the velocity more than anything else.
Bill talks about that slide step. Not a big leg lift, but he certainly drops that back knee here and pushes off. Fires a fastball. We had it at 92. They had it at 96 in-house. Either way, heat. Ball 4. And again, Turnbow, signed by Milwaukee as a free agent on October 14th. The Angels just let him run, let him out of there. Pitching in Salt Lake City last year, 46 games, an ERA of 5.06, and he may be a guy that's just another Mike Maddox project.
Man, you got to wonder, you know, the tough time the teams have coming up with reliable pitching. And I guess reliable is the key word. With an arm like Turnbow, you wonder why you give up on him.
Off-speed pitch had him out front. 0-2 the count on So Taguchi. Derek was a Rule 5 selection after the 1999 season, and it's a risk you take. It truly did set him back. Only appeared in 24 games all year with the Angels. He was up the entire season. The fastball misses high. And many think, looking back on that it certainly did cost him some time. Suffered a fracture of the ulnar bone next year. Put his arm in a brace, had surgery. That was after the Rule 5 season. My goodness. Splitter there?
Yeah. Wow. Big old split-fingered fastball. More like a fork ball, the way that ball dove. Big old break on it. Nasty. That's the pitch that he struck Gardzalonic out with. And it ended up going back to the screen. I'll tell you what, he gets 2 strikes on the hitter and goes to that in that location. Look out.
Fastball fouled off by Molina. Derek Turnbow is 27 years old, out of Franklin High School in Tennessee, born in Union City, Tennessee.
So far, kind of a, as you see Jason Isringhausen getting ready.
It's a foul ball.
A typical Derek Turnbow inning, or a couple of appearances, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts.
If you talk to Derek, it was after the injury and after the surgery. Break of the arm, having pins placed in, and then pins removed from his forearm, that he started to throw harder after the rehab and the intense rehab after an injury like that. Pitching in a game and having your arm break. There's that splitter. Nice job blocking it up. Boy, that is a tall task to block a guy like Derek Turnbow.
Well, just to catch Turnbow is a tall task, because, you know, he's a guy that just rears back and lets it go. He might be sitting on the outside corner and maybe up and in. And that nasty sinker, I mean, that I should say that the splitter is a tough pitch to catch regardless of who's throwing it.
That's belted to center field. Clark going back. He's got just enough room. Cirillo, Magruder, and Hardy. Let's go, boys. Pull a miracle out of your hat. Last chance for the Crew. Trying to improve on that mark to start the season of 5-4 instead of evening things up at 500. They're down 5-3 in a tough customer on the mound. ERA of 2.5 this year and 3 for 3 in saves. Right-hander Jason Isringhausen.
Fastball, curveball. He doesn't throw all that hard anymore, but again, he has been very effective. 3 for 3 on the year. He picked one up in yesterday's ball game with Cardinals winning that one 3-0.
A Mike Maddox project, no doubt. And he has been working with him from day one, and really positive steps in the right direction for Derek Turnbow. Pat on the back, and then Mike will go down and see what happens with the guys on the field. But a good job by Turnbow.
No doubt about it. I mean, he's thrown well so far this year.
Jeff Cirillo will lead things off. 1 for 2 in career at bats against Isringhausen. Top 4 in saves in baseball over the last 4 seasons. Mariano Rivera, Armando Benitez, Troy Percival, and Jason Isringhausen 1 through 4. Right down the middle, 0-1.
And you got to wonder if the Brewers are able to get a man or two on if Jeff Jenkins is available to hit today. It'd be a nice option.
Curveball, what a beautiful pitch. 0-2.
That's nasty, isn't it?
And it's such a simple thing, folks, but it bears pointing out. Closer coming in and throwing strikes. Now he's got all sorts of options. That's a slider and a tie. 1-2. Another curveball, and then he lays off. Got him with a slider. That's the same pitch he threw time and time again to Carlos Lee last night to put him away.
Yeah, fastball, curveball, fastball, slider gets Jeff Cirillo. You don't see Cirillo come up with swings like that too often. That's how nasty that pitch was. My goodness.
Jeff 0 for 4 today with a couple of strikeouts. Here's Chris Magruder. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts in his career against Isringhausen. Rolen plays in, cut of the grass in case he drops a bunt down. Strike 1.
Amazing, Isringhausen, his ability to get ahead in the count. And it's not always the fastball that he gets strike 1 with. Flip up a curveball. You mentioned the slider.
There's the curveball, 0-2.
Yeah, 2 batters and 0-2 on both of them to start the inning. You can't look for that pitch. You hope he throws a fastball in a hittable spot.
Get a pitcher like that in the game and gets guys like that back up to the top step. I was about to say 2 pitches ago that was a Sheets-like curveball, and there he is looking on. Slider, a slider in under his hands. Strike 3.
That's a rough pitch. Starts on the inside corner and ends up way off the plate. I mean, that's not even close to being a strike, but it started on the corner. He throws it hard. It doesn't have a lot of break, and right underneath the bat of Magruder. 2 funky hacks on strike 3 in this inning.
Popped up back behind home plate. This is a souvenir. 0-1 the count on J.J. Hardy. Victor Santos, Jason Marquis tomorrow. Brewers trying to hang on and put together a rally as Bill Hull waits on deck. No stranger to heroics last April. Slider, strike 2. 0-2 on all 3 hitters. And again, as Bill mentioned, it's not all fastballs. He's throwing strikes with all 3 pitches early in the count. Cardinal fans rise to their feet that have made the trip here to Wisconsin. That is a curveball, and it misses outside. A brief outburst with 3 runs thanks to Brady Clark in the 7th. Protecting, diving play by Isringhausen. He ends the game. That's it, just like that. Nasty stuff in consecutive nights for the closer. Jason Isringhausen, his 4th save of the year, and Scott Rolen had 3 hits. He played solid D once again, and for his efforts, he is our Potawatomi player of the game, Bill.
He does it all on both sides of the field, doesn't he? I mean, a great hitter. I mean, he got the Cardinals going early on with a 2-run homer in the 1st, a couple of singles, and as you talked about, outstanding defensively over at 3rd base. Cardinals are starting to swing the bat a little bit right now. I mean, National League Central, take notice. They came in the worst batting average, team batting average in the National League. That's not going to last.
That was a mirage, and we will step aside, and our post-game coverage starts right now. 5-3, the Cardinals beat the Brewers.